y'all, Melissa here with you today, and today we're going to tailor this jacket to fit a little better. This jacket I purchased recently, and there are a few things I want to change about it. First, I noticed that the styling is actually probably meant to be worn like this, and this is not what I want to do. So I need to get rid of this split vent in the sleeve so that I can wear it like a classic sleeve. But as you can see, the sleeves are too long. Blazer sleeves should hit about your wrist bone. So I'm going to need to shorten the sleeve to about there. I also want to shorten the overall length of the blazer. This is giving a little bit of a lab coat vibe to me because I'm petite. So I think it would look better if I took it up to right about here-ish. Real close to the length of the sleeve. I'm gonna check in a mirror to make sure that this is exactly where I want it. Once I get those two alterations done, I may also look at pinching in the back just a little bit. It is a little bit loose back here behind my lower back. So I may nip that in just a touch, but I wanna emphasize this when you are looking at blazers and you think you may need to alter it, make sure the shoulders fit. So let's see how to do it. Okay, y'all, I have done some seam ripping and some fitting, so let me show you what I've done and what we need to do next. First, I went ahead and I seam ripped the lining from the outer fabric. Something you'll notice on blazer lining is that it's usually sewn back here, and then there's like a little fold beyond the stitching line of extra lining. So I seam ripped along the vent, and on this side of the vent, there's this little bit of lining that sticks out, and it gets kind of layered in like that. And that is how the vent corner here is finished. This is the outer part of the vent, the part you can see more on the outside. I also seam ripped here around the curve, and this is actually the next step I want to do, is I want to create a pattern of this curve so that when I shorten the blazer that I can keep the same curve, because I do like the curve, I just want it higher up. So I'm going to trace this carefully with a pencil, and then I'll cut this curve out and use that as a pattern to help me when I'm cutting the actual fabric. Something I want to show you here on the inside construction, this is the pocket bag, and I do want to keep my pockets, so I can't shorten the jacket more than this amount without running into the pocket bag, which I don't want to do. So it's going to be a limitation on how short I can make this blazer. Luckily, I looked at my blazers that I like the fit of, and I usually like the hem to fall at about the same place that my sleeve hem falls. And guess what? Here's the pin that I marked where my wrist was on my sleeve hem, and here is the pocket bag. So they should be right in line with each other, which will be great. Next, let's take a look at the sleeve here. So since it had those vented sleeves, this has a facing on it. So this was sewn up so that you had, when you rolled the cuffs back, you could still see that outer fabric. And because of that, the lining on the sleeve is actually shorter than you would typically find inside a blazer. So I didn't seam rip the facing off, because what I'm going to have to do, if this is where I want my hem to be, is I'm going to have to just do enough extra fabric from this that it goes underneath that lining, same way it did on the back hem. And it'll get sewn back here, and there will be a little extra fold of lining inside the sleeve there for ease. So once I cut that off, there's going to be, quite a bit here left on. The next thing I want to do before I cut any fabric, because once it's cut, you cannot uncut it, is I want to take everything and I want to pin it to where I think it's all going to go, and then I'm going to try it on again, and then I'm going to check the fit before I cut anything. Okay, y'all, I am going to show you another reason it's helpful to have this curve on cardstock, and that's because you can then use it as a pressing guide. So if I push this into my coat here, and then I move it up as far as I can without hitting that pocket bag, there we go, it gives me the curve to work with here. And then what I can do is take the actual fabric without cutting it to test it here, and use my iron to kind of press that in place. And especially around this curve, it's going to help me with that stiff edge to be able to kind of shape the fabric around the curve. So I'm going to use this guide to get me over to the vent here. And go ahead and press all that up. Now, if you were working with like a wool or something, I would be real careful with this. Make sure you don't scorch anything. Make sure you don't like permanently stretch the wool. But since this is a linen blend, this is something I know, like if I don't like this, if this doesn't fit like I want, it can just be ironed back out. Okay, y'all, here is my pin fit, and there's a few things that I'm still gonna do that this has revealed. First of all, once I have the sleeves the correct length, I'm noticing they're really, really wide. I don't want them quite this wide on the wrist. So I think I'm gonna take about 1 inch out of the overall circumference. We're gonna taper that down. There's 2 seams here for the undersleeve. So I'll take about 1/2 inch out of each seam, and that'll take 1 inch out of the overall circumference there. I think wearing this around, like I have this when my arms are laying flat, the length is correct, but it just feels, and probably it's because of the width thing, they feel a little short. So I'm gonna err on the side of a little bit longer. I'm gonna add maybe another 1/4 inch to the length of the sleeves. The overall length of the jacket, I think, is good. I did repress, and I may need to do a teeny little bit of sewing right in here to change the break point of where the jacket starts, like where it overlaps and where it goes down. So I've got a pin here. I'm gonna add a second buttonhole here, and I do have the matching button from the original because it came with an extra. So we'll use that, and then I won't have any extras, but I'm gonna add a second button there. I just think this is gonna work better for the types of ways I would wear this blazer. I really like this curve though, and it comes right to the bottom of those pocket bags, so I don't have to alter the pocket bag. I'm not gonna have to alter the vent in the back, but I am still gonna take some of this extra fabric, just a little kind of curved piece out of that lower back there, just to nip it in a teeny bit, and then I think I'm gonna be done. So I've marked on the back here about how much I want to take in, and measuring that on the center back here, this looks like, my guess was good. I was guessing 1 inch. It's 7/8 of an inch that I wanted to take in at the deepest point there. So from there to there, I want to dart, and I want it to come in 7/8 of an inch at this point. And what we want to do is kind of go from the original stitching line to the deepest part of that dart, and then on this end the same thing. So I'm going to stitch in, baste it, check the fit, and then if that works, then I will go ahead and cut off the excess seam allowance there. Okay, y'all, here is my center back seam after I've pressed it, and I took that little bit mostly from here in. I want to show you a tool that can help with this. This is a tailor's ham, and when you're pressing like in between layers of the lining, like I was here, the ham helps because you can get it in between, so you're just pressing that seam. It's giving you a firm surface to press that seam out without having to press the lining and get it all wrinkled. So it's just really handy for that. It's also really good for pressing things like princess seams, or if you're doing something like a corset or a bikini that's got a lot of curves in the bust, this is really helpful for pressing seams on those curved dimensional pieces. So I do have this linked below if you would like to grab your own. The next thing we need to do is the sleeve. So I'm going to turn the sleeve wrong side out. What I want to do next is on this sleeve, I need to, first of all, sew this vented part closed. But I want to take this seam, and these are where I'm going to take an increased seam allowance so that I can take about 1 inch out of the width of this cuff down at my wrist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to taper in from, I'm going to just go straight 1/2 inch extra seam allowance from here to just past the hem fold edge that I've got, and then from there to that notch I will taper to get back to the original stitching line. Okay, I've got the sleeve taken in, and now what I'm going to do to enable me to easily sew around the cuff the way I want to, I'm actually going to open up this seam in the sleeve, and then later I will use a blind stitch to put it back together. But this is going to allow me to turn things inside out a little easier than if I try to do it through the lining. Okay, y'all, here's the hole that I've opened up in the sleeve, and here's why I did that. So here is the sleeve, and this cuff is going to get folded up like this, and I want this edge sewn to that edge folded under. And the only way I can get those two raw edges matched is to pull them back through the sleeve. That's why we made the extra hole. So now I have the raw edges here, and I can open those out, match that seam, and pin in place. And then I'm going to continue pinning around the cuff here. Okay, so I'm going to stitch around, and you see how these are all kind of twisted around in there? That's why I reached through, and you have to be really careful to kind of hold on to the seam allowances that you want to match first, and then pin around and trust the process. All right, here's my twisted up sleeve. Moment of truth. Can we push this back through? There we go. And you can see how the outer fabric comes up to meet that sleeve fabric invisibly there. Well, not invisibly, but like you're not going to see this at all on the outside. Let me turn it out so you can see. So here we go. You can't see the seam there to the cuff. Next, we need to start dealing with trimming the front side. We have the pressed line that we can see, which is the length that I want the jacket to be. What I'm going to do actually is measure the seam allowance in the same place down here, and then just mark it from that fold line down, and then that's where I'm going to cut. Okay, so moment of truth, let's go ahead and cut that off. Once we have this cut, what I want to do is go ahead and press that curve again. I'm going to use my pressing template just to make sure we have the seam allowance all ready to go here. All right, and then flipping this over, I should be able to use this as a guide to cut the same amount off the lining. So I actually want to sew this edge together first. And if you look on the inside of the jacket here, you can see this is actually the understitching from the lining side. So we're going to want to do that too. And in order to do that easily, I've gone ahead, while I had the seam ripper out on the sleeve, seam ripped in the back here. That's going to make it have 2 points of access. We can go through here or we can go through here. And then when we do the bottom edge, we're definitely going to want to come through the hole in the back lining seam here. But so what I want to do is match these seams. I'm going to go from my original stitching here and then pin around that curve, matching the raw edges, just until I get to where this transitions. This is the same fabric as the outer jacket, and this is the lining fabric. So we're just going to go to this seam line here. All right, so I'm going to take this to the machine. I'm going to stitch from here right along that fold line. Okay, y'all, I went ahead and stitched that and immediately understitched it. And now what I need to do is press out this seam to make sure that we've got that nice sharp edge right where we want it. And what the understitching does is it helps keep the lining edge rolled to the wrong side. So now what I want to do is finish the edge of the vent. So I'm just going to open this way and pin those raw edges of the vent together and stitch those. Okay, y'all, with the 2 front edges sewn, then we are down to just sewing the rest of the lining into the jacket. So grabbing the raw edges that I want to keep together, I'm going to pull this through and start lining up my seam allowances and pinning. Okay, I'm going to do this side, then I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side, and we'll be done with everything that we can sew on the machine. Then what I need to do is sew the gaps back closed by hand. Okay, y'all, here is what that looks like stitched. The stitching line is back here, the lining is folded over so it's not really visible on this side, and this is what the outside looks like. So I need to repeat that on the other side, and then I'm just going to hand stitch using a blind stitch those gaps that I made in the lining for turning. And if you don't know how to do a blind stitch, check out this link. I've got a tutorial there that shows you exactly how to do it. Okay, y'all, here is my finished jacket. As you can see, I've added the second button and buttonhole. I couldn't raise this too much because it gets really tricky. It's very subtle drafting, but it will mess up the lapels if you try to raise it too high. I nipped in the back a little bit so it's not quite so slouchy in the back. We made the sleeves a little bit thinner, so again, not quite so slouchy, and then shortened this and made the sleeves the correct length. Overall, all these tiny tweaks make this into something that I feel much more comfortable wearing, and that I think I will wear for longer than if I had just left it with that long, oversized look. And check out this playlist for more alterations, upcycles, and thrift flipped clothing.